Spider-Man has a sidekick. But who, what, where, when, and sometimes why, you say? SpiderBoy has apparently been his sidekick this entire time, but the Web of Destiny removed him from everyone's memories. In the latest Spider-Verse event, they freed him, and Peter doesn't believe that he is his sidekick, but he's willing to give the young boy a chance. So today, we start his solo story. This is Comicstorian. I take comic books, turn them into audio drama so that you know what's going on in the world of comics and what to add to your collection. If you enjoy this type of content, consider checking us out on Spotify at Comicstorian or our sister channel, Comicstorian Full Story. Spider-Man and Spider-Boy leap over the rapid-firing bowling pins as they fly through the air. So you fought this guy before? Spider-Man asks, and Spider-Boy nods his head. Yep, that's Gutterball, the bowling alley bandit. He may look silly, but trust me, boss, he's one of my deadliest foes, Spider-Boy explains. He then leaps into action, quickly pulling several bowlers out of the way of the deadly pins, while Spider-Man leaps to stop Gutterball. Wait, don't! His head is an indestructo ball! Bailey shouts, but it's too late as Spider-Man slams his fist painfully into the round head of Gutterball. Nice try, Webbs! You lose! Gutterball laughs, but Bailey slips between the villain's legs, knocking him off of balance. He picks him up, whirling him around, letting him fly down the bowling lane, and he gets a strike. Way to go, pal. That was very striking, Spider-Man jokes. Yeah, it would be a shame if he could be spared, Spider-Boy laughs along. At the end, Gutterball slams through the wall, begging the police to take him into custody so that he doesn't have to hear any more bowling puns. And so, with the exception of one wall, Lucky Lane was saved, Spider-Man says while Spider-Boy cheers. But when they look around, they realize that all of the people that they saved are still afraid. Are you going to keep us safe from him too? Somebody asks as they point at Spider-Boy. The young hero is surprised until he picks up a copy of the Daily Bugle. The front is a large picture of him baring fangs and biting into Electro from earlier in the week. Oh, come on, really? Spider-Boy shouts, crumpling the paper. Before you all forgot I existed, I spent 3 years helping out, being a hero, Spider-Boy says as he turns to his mentor. And Peter understands what it's like to be seen as a menace and decides that he's gonna go try and fix this. Hang tight, kiddo. I'll see what I can do. I know a guy. So a short time later, Spider-Man arrives at the Daily Bugle where he finds Robbie Robinson talking to the owner of Lucky Lanes. Spidey comes through the window asking Robbie why he would do this to Spider-Boy, when it was exactly what Jameson used to do. Calling Spider-Boy a monster? He's just a kid, Robbie. Robbie nods and points out the obvious. Who also happens to be a monster, Spider-Man. Spider-Man thinks that they should do something for the young hero to help his public image, and that's when the owner of Lucky Lanes stands up. I could give him the key to the bowling alley, and he could bowl whenever he wants. How's that? She asks. Both Robbie and Spider-Man agree that that could go a long way in helping Spider-Boy's image. So later, Peter returns to the feast where he finds young Bailey hanging out with Christina Zoo, a friend and member of the family that's been taking care of him. The two are laughing and arguing about how Bailey being a ginger is far worse than him being a vampire spider monster when Peter walks in. How do you do, fellow kids? He asks before trying to pull Bailey away. But Bailey smiles, motioning to his friend. If this is Spider-Boy news, it's cool if Christy hears it. I told her my secret identity, he says with a wink. Peter looks at him in dismay. Dude! You've only been back for a couple of days and somebody already knows? You gotta do better than that. He tells Bailey the good news, that Lucky Lanes is going to give Spider-Boy a lifetime pass for saving the day and that he can bowl anytime that he wants. Bailey's excited, but asks the most important question. Do I get tokens to the games too? Is the food free? Like hot dogs? What about nachos? He asks in rapid fire and Peter smiles. Probably not. Meanwhile, on the farm, Madame Monstrosity turns to her horrible humanimals, reminding them that she will not stop until they have captured Spider-Boy, who dares to leap around the city masking as one of her creations. If I just knew when and where that raw crawler would pop up next, she shouts, when suddenly her computer dings with a new report about how Spider-Boy will be receiving a reward from the Lucky Lanes bowling alley. Madame Monstrosity smiles wickedly. Perfect, and I know precisely which one of my humanimals should attend, she says. It's a little while later at the Lucky Lanes that everyone is cheering and clapping for Spider-Boy as he receives an honorary ball and a lifetime of free bowling. Bailey holds up his prize and receives more cheers, but everyone stops as the ground begins to shake. Whoa, do you feel that? He asks as he turns to Christy, who nods, pointing to the street. It's that! Whatever it is, SpiderBoy, move! It's coming right for you! She shouts. So SpiderBoy looks up in shock as a massive Hellfino comes charging right at him. It's you! Bailey gasps as he flashbacks to how he knows the Hellfino. He remembers his time at Madame Monstrosity's farm, where he was transformed into the monster that he is now by her mixing his DNA with a spider. But he had a friend named Eli. Eli and him used to keep each other laughing with terrible jokes and puns. My mom used to tell me one. What do you get when you cross a rhino and an elephant? He asks after he was transformed. Hellfino, he says, and both boys begin to snort with laughter. But Madame Monstrosity took that joke as an idea and dragged Eli away, wishing to combine him with an elephant and a rhino. Bailey banged on the glass of his cage, shouting for her to let his friend go. Please, it was a joke, Eli, I'm sorry, he shouted. But now, SpiderBoy is looking up at Hellfino as the monster is charging at him. I'm sorry, he whispers, but he hesitates as the monster slams into him, throwing him into a nearby wall, his bowling ball going flying and cracking against the ground. Hey, that was my ball, he groans. You crack jokes. Hellfino cracks your skull, the monster growls. But Bailey refuses to go down, leaping into the air, bouncing around and hitting Hellfino again and again. But the monster laughs. I have the skin of 2 pachyderms. Nothing will stop me from squishing you. Hellfino growls, his trunk wrapping around SpiderBoy, lifting him into the air, squeezing him tight. It's at that moment that Bailey can hear Madame Monstrosity's voice over the comms wrapped around Hellfino's neck. Enough fooling around, you lumbering brute. You have him. Now show me what I need to see. Unmask him. Hellfino begins to pull down Bailey's mask, revealing the back of his neck and the barcode that Madame Monstrosity left there when she changed him. I knew it. You're one of my creations. Why don't I remember making you? I must know, she shouts, but Bailey shakes his head. Because everyone's forgotten me, and that includes you, Eli, Bailey says as he turns to his friend. The crowd is now on SpiderBoy's side, shouting for Hellfino to let him go, calling the beast a monster. But Bailey reasons with his former friend. It doesn't matter what they think or Madame M. All that matters is what you think. You don't want to be a monster, Eli. Make a choice and don't be one. Eli eventually lets him go, nodding. And then he refuses to bring SpiderBoy to Madame M. Instead, he stomps off through the city. Christy comes running over to her friend. He's gone. We're safe now, right? She asks, and Bailey nods, but points out that the city probably still thinks that he's a monster. Christy puts a hand on his shoulder. You're gonna be all right. I have faith in you. I bet the next time you run into that guy, you'll beat him. But Bailey shakes his head as he looks after his friend. Nah, Christina. The next time I see him, I'm gonna save him. And that concludes the first issue of the solo SpiderBoy storyline. It's an interesting start. I'm a fan of Spider-Man. The idea of a sidekick is slowly growing on me, but what do you think? Let me know down below because this story is to be continued.